Well, Greg and his brother Larry and I, during the summer, didn't have much to do on a weekend, so we decided to walk up to Twin Peaks, which was a straight shot from our house. We could walk up 22nd Street, just continue on to the base of Twin Peaks, which is a dirt hill, dirt mountains, I guess you would call them, small mountains. And we'd climb up there, and in the back, where today is that monster TV tower, was a sutro forest. And we'd go back in there and find snakes or frogs or just wander around. Well, we did that one day. I think it was April 1949. And also along with Greg and Larry Gillard was their dog Squeaky. Squeaky was just a mongrel. So we were walking around, and there's a reservoir on Twin Peaks from the fire department. Larry decided he was going to go swimming in the reservoir. Not swimming, wading. And had to climb over a big wrought iron fence with spikes on the top to do this. But Greg and I were standing outside. Well, he strips down to his underwear, goes over, and goes into the reservoir. Well, the reservoir had been there filled up with water for a number of years. And moss has a tendency to grow, and algae, under the water. Well, as Larry stepped in, he immediately slid and went underwater. Well, Greg and I are watching him. So Larry was much taller than us, although he was younger than Greg. He was taller than Greg. Everybody was taller than Greg. So we had to figure out how to get Larry, because he's going up and down in the water. So Greg says, I'm going to go over. So I had to boost him up. He climbs over this wrought iron fence with the spikes sticking up and trying to grab Larry. Well, I can't. So we took our belts off, hooked our belts together, threw him down. Larry grabbed a hold of the belt, which was good. And he pulled on it. Well, unfortunately, Greg was on the other end of it. He pulled Greg into the water. And I said, I ain't going in there, because none of us could swim. And the dog was going in and out having a hell of a time, And now I don't know what to do, but I look across the reservoir, which was a pretty good sized reservoir, I don't know, 150, 200 feet or something. And I saw a shack over there, so I took off running around the reservoir. Got to the reservoir, or the shack, and it was manned by an old fireman by the name of John Ricketts. No, excuse me, it wasn't John Ricketts. He comes later. Old man in there. And I'm waking him up because he was asleep. It was a job for an old guy, go hide somewhere. Tried to tell him my friends are dying, drowning in the reservoir. And I was probably very calm, but he didn't understand a word I was saying. May have been yelling a little bit. Could have been slightly excited. Well, he finally figured out what was happening. He called the fire department, and they're right down at the base of Twin Peaks. There was a firehouse. Firemen came up the hill up towards Twin Peaks, up the road, and I noticed when they got there, they had stripped down to their shorts already. They're riding on the fire truck in their shorts. They have the key to the lock of the gate. They open the gate, go down, and they pulled up Larry first, and and this water is murky. Boy, it's full of algae, an emergency reservoir for the fire department. And then they pulled up Greg, and it scared the hell out of me because I saw water coming out of his mouth, and I got a little excited about that. Probably got the firemen a little excited too. Well, they take Greg and Larry down to the emergency hospital down by Kezar Stadium. Now the police are there, everybody's there, and police asked me, where do they live? I said, on 22nd Street. They said, where? I said, I don't know the address. I know the house. I said, okay, get in the car. I get in the back of the police car. They drive me up to 22nd Street, and I point out Greg's house. I'm sitting there in the back seat of a police car, and I believe it was my sister Donna who came by and said, what did you do? And I said, nothing. You know, I didn't do anything. So I didn't want to get in trouble. We go back down to the hospital once they got Greg's parents, or one of them, go back down to the emergency hospital. Now the press is there. They take pictures of us. And we're standing there looking like three orphans or street kids.
Which you were.
Well, and so I didn't, why they're taking pictures. Probably too young to realize all this. And then they drive us back up to 22nd Street. So I get out, I go home. I'm not telling anybody anything because I'm scared. And I know I'm in trouble. And it comes out, I figure maybe it'll just go by itself and leave. Well, it comes out, the headlines in the San Francisco newspaper, the call bulletin, rescue of 2 boys at SF Reservoir. And there is a picture of Greg and Larry and I standing there like, 3 lost kids. And then it was on the radio. Television wasn't around yet. Well, now everybody knows it. I'm scared because I know I am in trouble. First of all, we were way away from the house. And second of all, the police were involved. So then it turns out that people thought it was some big thing. I don't know. Why'd you do it? I said, well, we were up there, I don't know why they went in the water. Why didn't you go in? I said, because I was scared. That was it. So that's Greg and Larry Gillard. Greg and I became roommates later in life after we were adults, and we had 2 different apartments together, and he got married, 2 weeks after we did. So, and we were lifelong friends.